10 games on the slate for Monday, 13 days left in the regular season here. So MLB action aplenty that we'll be getting into for the next few weeks over here on First Pitch. Today, Cleveland, Oakland, Arizona, Colorado. The Pirates taking on the Cardinals, Dodgers, Braves, and Padres, Astros. Breakdowns and best bets coming your way for the next few moments here on First Pitch. Joining me to break it down, a terrific Monday duo, Drew Martin of the Opening Line Report coming your way later today, and Steve Merril of Fade the Public, of Top 25. Yes, you can find him everywhere here on the WagerTalk TV YouTube channel. But guys, what we're here to do today is talk some MLB action. And Steve, I'll start off with you because yes, only 13 days left here in the regular season, but Paul Skeens, the rookie, has had no problem adjusting to the pros and is showing no sign of slowing down either. This whole season, the talk was, well, are they going to shut him down towards the end because what do the Pirates really have to play for? Well, they keep on trotting him out, and he keeps putting quality outings up there. That is for damn sure. He's going against the Cardinals tonight. So Pirates-Cardinals going 7:45. It looks like it'll be Palante opposing the rookie phenom here. And Eric D. in the chat already giving a shout-out to Paul Skeens' girlfriend, who I'm sure is watching the show here, Steve. But very excited about maybe some Olivia Doon sightings this evening in baseball action. But outside of all that, how are we betting this game, Steve?
Pirates as a road favorite in September. How could that possibly be? Fade. Oh, wait a second. Paul Skeens is on the mound. He's alert. Yeah, look, I mean, this guy is as good as anyone we've seen since my childhood. I remember 1984, Doc Gooden, Dwight Gooden. He was like 20-3, had like a 1.9 ERA. You can check the exact stats, but he was just lights out. So we've seen times when these rookie pitchers can come and just dominate and continue to dominate. We all thought he'd be shut down in September. They've had him on a 100-pitch count basically all season. In fact, they have pulled him twice with no hitters in the 6th and 7th inning earlier this year. It just makes me cringe. We would not have seen that happen with Dwight Gooden in the 1980s, but that's the new reality we live in. But the fact remains, Skeens is still pitching. He's still pitching well. Not my namesake, Jackson Merril. 2 R's, 2 L. He almost got it right. They're in the tight run for the Rookie of the Year, but we all thought Merril might win it because Skeens wouldn't get September, but he is getting September. And it's also a quick rematch against the Cardinals back on July 23rd. Well, not a quick rematch, but the second to last time these teams played. They played back at the end of July. This is a 4-game set starting tonight on Monday. Skeens lost to the Cardinals 2-1. Obviously, it was his fault, right? A 2-1 loss, and that's often the case. So if Pittsburgh gets any kind of offense tonight, I do think Skeens is the play. As good as any pitcher in baseball right now, and I think it's a focus spot as well. And the Cardinals now 7 out of the wild card spot with about, 14 or 16 games to go. So they're not going to get it done. And I think the fact that they're fading now, Pittsburgh knows they've been out of it. They've won 6 of their last 10. They're actually playing pretty competitive baseball overall. In fact, both these teams are 10-10 their last 20. And we get the much better pitcher tonight with Skeens on the mound. To put it in perspective, a 2.1 ERA on the season, and he has a 2.5 ERA since the beginning of August. So he is not wearing down here. And the pitch count limit, I think, has kept him fresh. Meanwhile, Palante, 4.1 ERA on the season, 4.3 since early August. A big edge with the Pirates here. Let's not overthink it. Pittsburgh Pirates with Skeens on the mound tonight as the small road favorite, minus $1.40. That goes at 7:45 Eastern. When you're watching these shows, watching these videos, don't forget to give them a thumbs up, like, comment below. I read all the comments. I reply back. Hit subscribe and hit the bell for instant alert when these free play videos go up. The shows go up, and also the NFL Fade the Public video. And, oh, by the way, one of the 2 most public plays this week is the Monday Night Football game tonight between the Eagles and Falcons. So it's not too late to go watch that Fade the Public Week 2 edition here on WagerTalk TV. And speaking of baseball, I'm on a 28-7 best bet run over the past month. 28-7 baseball best bet run continues tonight on Monday. And, of course, you can get an instant $50 off the rest of the season with promo code MLB50. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com.
Where is the public going in Monday Night Football? Check out that video with Steve Merril over on WagerTalk TV. You can just search it or go to the video tab, or you could definitely subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll know whenever we're dropping some new content here. Have a feeling that maybe the people laying it with the favorite That might be what is what's happening on the gridiron tonight. But we will see. Check it out over at Steve's page. Check that out as well over here on WagerTalk TV. All right, Drew Martin. So we got Cleveland going against Minnesota today. It's really, do or die time for both of these squads here. Some things worked out over the weekend, but still the push is on, and both of these teams, they ain't messing around because they're sending out two of the best pitchers that we've seen here in recent form. Lopez and Boyd, a little lefty versus righty action. 6:40 is when this one is starting. How are you looking to play this one? Are we just going to try and pick the side here, see who maybe has a little bit more motivation, a bit of a rest edge? How are you looking to break this one down, Drew?
Yeah, Dan, I'm doing a little ride the hot, fade the cold with Cleveland coming in, winning 2 straight, 5 of their last 7, as opposed to the Twins losing 6 of their last 9. Now, the Twins are up by 9 over 500, which, to your point, it's kind of do or die time for them. But from a betting angle, they are minus double-digit units on the season. They do have some big-name pitchers, kind of commanding price tags. And it's kind of replicated in losing money betting on the Twins. Now, Pablo Lopez himself has been pretty good. The 28-year-old Venezuelan, sub-4 ERA, sub-4 FIP. But his last time against the Guardians, he only went 5 2/3, giving up 4 runs and only having 2 strikeouts. That's not great past performance. And he's up against this Guardians lineup that has been pretty good overall. And you mentioned Matt Boyd going for the Guardians. This guy's been absolutely money. He got a late start to the season, only 6 starts for the year, but he has a 2.1 ERA and no more than 1 earned run in any of his last 4 starts. So the 33-year-old out of Oregon State, he's been money. I have in my notes looked to be betting on him. So in this matchup, Dan, I'll go back to the ride the hot, fade the cold here. I think it's Cleveland, 22 games over 500, first place. I think they're on their way to the playoffs, and I think they cash this ticket with the small home dog barking here on Cleveland plus 100.
Yeah, you love to see, and definitely shop around, find the best price that you can on that one, because we have seen a bit of money push that off of some even money. If you can find that even money, definitely go and grab it that way. Shout out to the chat here, the ones who aren't complaining about the Gamecocks getting, I'll put in air quotes for them, screwed at the end of the game. It was a little bit rough, but those who aren't complaining about the Gamecocks are getting pretty jacked up for another playoff, implication type series. Both of these teams are basically signed, sealed, delivered, Steve, and that's the Phillies and the Brewers. The Phillies, my Phillies, of course, first team to reach 90 wins, so they're hanging on to that little 2-game that cushion that they have over the Dodgers as far as the best record is concerned. But big matchup going tonight. It's going to be Ranger Suarez on the bump after the Phillies get that 9th inning walk-off or, 9th inning late dramatic win with JT Realmuto. And now they're going to be taking on the Brewers. It'll be Savali across from Ranger Suarez as far as the pitching is concerned. Any thoughts on this one, Steve? Because this is some teams that we're going to be seeing a lot of, I have a feeling, over the coming days and coming weeks once we head into October.
Yeah, just I think a few weeks ago, the Brewers actually had the best run differential in baseball for the first time, and they're really pulling away with that now. In fact, if you look, the Yankees are plus 123 in the American League. The Brewers are plus 134. And to put that in perspective, you mentioned the two teams that have more wins on paper. Phillies plus 119, Dodgers plus 106, Brewers plus 134. So depending on what metric you want to look at, the Brewers are maybe the best team in baseball. Phillies the most wins. And as you mentioned, Dan, the Dodgers right behind them, of course, coming in. Everyone thought the Dodgers would have the most wins this season. But as we've also seen here in the past couple of years with this new playoff format, as Chris Farley would say when he lives in the van down by the river, most wins regular season will get you jack squat. So we'll see if that holds up or not in the postseason. But these are two teams still playing hard. Brewers just 5-5 their last 10. Phillies are in better current form, winning 7 out of 10. I think Suarez is also the better starting pitcher here. And so we're getting it at a pick-em price, better overall team, good current form, better starting pitcher. And to put that in perspective, once again, Suarez, a 3.1 ERA on the season. But I am a little concerned, 5.3 since early July. He, of course, was out for a month, basically missed all of August. Since he's come back, basically 2 starts in August, 2 starts in September. He's been pretty mediocre in all 4 of those. So I really need to see something from Suarez before we think he's back to that current form. Of course, the 12 hits allowed against Drew Martin's Tampa Bay Rays last week on the 10th is definitely concerning. Normally you'd say, hey, a quality Class A guy bounces back. And he did have a good shutout 5-inning performance against Drew Martin's Miami Marlins right before that. But the Braves and Royals, his first 2 back, 9 hits, 5 runs, just 10 innings. He's been kind of seesawing the last month or so. A lot of uncertainty in this game for me for that reason.
Yeah, the days of just sitting and forgetting Ranger Suarez to record a win have definitely faded away since the start of the season. Drew, for you and guys coming up, make sure you stick around here. We do have best bets coming up. We're going to be talking either Dodgers versus Padres or Dodgers versus Braves, or Padres versus Astros with Steve for his best bet. But Drew's going to be taking a look at an over later tonight. But as far as this one's concerned, I mean, you have to maybe think that this series, while yes, it is big for the Phillies, it's even bigger for the Brewers because that magic number has continued to shrink for the NL Central. I think it's sitting and remaining at 3 after that tough loss to Arizona where there was about 1 million runs scored. So the Brewers now returning home, you have to feel like they can kind of smell a little bit if they can get some help around them as far as that magic number is concerned, that they could tie, they could kind of wrap this thing up depending on what happens in this series with the Phillies. So any, motivation angle that heads into it for you for this one?
Sure, Dan. I mean, yeah, the NL Central is kind of a tight race. We've seen some of these teams. We just talked about the Pirates a bit, or Steve did. And they've kind of, I guess, overperformed a little bit. Like when you look at the standings in the NL Central, a lot of 500-ish teams there. It's just the Brewers are kind of the next step up, if you will. And yeah, with the 10-game lead there over the second place with Cardinals, they could kind of wrap it up here in this series. I broke this one down, Dan, in terms of betting on tonight's action. You kind of mentioned there with Ranger Suarez, he's been a little bit up and down, 4 earned or blanking the opponent the last 3 or 4 starts. He's not going too deep into the games. It's just, can you really try? I thought the number looked short on the Phillies, but then when you look at the Brewers side of things, I mean, they just scored 25 runs their last 2 games. So I don't love going up against teams, averaging over 12 runs a game their last 2. I'm kind of a baseball handicapper. I want to ride the hot and fade the cold. Sometimes that baseball looks like a grapefruit. Sometimes it looks like a golf ball. And for the Brewers lineup right now, they've been smacking it around. It's looking a little bit more like a grapefruit. So that's what kept me off the Phillies side, man.
Yeah, it's very fair. Nothing's keeping our Philly man, Eric D, off the Phillies, though. In the comments, he's saying, Ranger wins, Hertz wins. Philly wins. So it sounds like we got a 2-team parlay being cooked up for, don't call me a homer, Eric D over there in the chat. While you're hanging out with us, make sure you hit that like button. Keep those comments coming. Let us know what your best bets are tonight. If you're watching on the rewatch, like Steve said, comment below. We keep reading those and would love to see what your best bets are. We'll chop them up with you. Have any questions that we can't answer here live, we'll be in the comments answering them after the show up until game time. So keep those comments coming. Steve, for you, let's talk Padres and Astros here. This is only 10 games, sure. But we have some nice matchups, and this is one of those with the Astros and Padres going. And the Padres, according to their manager, continue to stay on a mission as they're going. It's Yu Darvish who's going to be pitching for them, and it looks like Spencer Spaghetti Arrighetti going to be going for the Astros. Both of these teams, the competition is stepping up a little bit from what they did over the weekend. They got the sweeps, but it's not exactly like they were against playoff opponents. So how are you looking to bet this one and how this series shakes out, the late night special going at 9:40?
Yeah, late night game here on the interleague action. Astros, Padres, 2 playoff caliber teams. In fact, Houston pulling away. We're really holding away in the AL West. They're 4.5 up. That's kind of been where they've been for a few weeks now over the feisty Mariners. But keep in mind, the Astros started just 7-19 this season. Really underachieved that first month of the year, first month of the season, rather. April is the 4th month of the year to be exact. But after that 7-19 start, they've now gone 74-49 best record in baseball really over the past several months. So they are world championship contenders once again. Just 35-38 though against winning teams. And then we look at the Padres, who knew they were going to be up against it this year in the AL West or the NL West because they had to face the Dodgers, or fight the Dodgers, catch the Dodgers. But they've actually done a pretty good job of holding ground. They're just 3.5 behind of LA, but more importantly for the Padres, they're 3.5 up in the wild card standings. Diamondbacks a couple games behind them. Padres actually 42-36 against winning teams this year. So Padres have actually been the better team against class competition. They're at home here for this first of an interleague battle. Both teams 6-4 their last 10. Both teams 12-8 their last 20. Let's go back the last 30. 17-13 Astros. Padres 18-12. So they're both in equally good current form. And then, of course, we have Darvish on the mound. Now, Darvish did not pitch since the end of May. Came back for 2 starts here now in September. Very dicey in his first outing against Detroit on September 4th. Didn't even last 3 innings. Gave up 3 runs, 4 hits. Kind of, put an asterisk next to that one. He also struggled in a minor league start a few months ago in June. So really we needed to see something from Darvish before trusting him. Maybe we started to see that at Seattle when he gave up 2 runs in 5 innings, 7 hits. But once again, at Seattle, that's a very pitcher-friendly park. So he's been mediocre at best. Arrighetti has been mediocre all season, 4.7 ERA. But if you look at his last 7 starts since the beginning of August, 2.7 ERA. He's actually pitching a lot better here down the stretch. So maybe the total is the best play in this game. We get a total right now of 8 under, but if you look, some books have started to drop to 7.5. Just a lot of uncertainty with Darvish and what he'll have tonight. He's been very mediocre basically since being injured way back in May.
Steve Merril, WT.buzz/SM is where you can find him over at WagerTalk.com. Shout out to those joining us live. Keep those likes coming. And shout out to those joining us on social, whether you're X, Instagram, TikTok. Hit us with the follow. Speaking of TikTok, Jared over on TikTok is checking out the Diamondbacks run line tonight as they take on the Rockies. That game's going to be covered coming up in Best Bets. Drew Martin going to give you a breakdown on that game, so stick around, Jared. We had a question here from Connor Coyne. He was asking about this A's and Cubs game. Drew, for all intents and purposes, the Cubs season is done, right? 5 games behind. Crazier things have happened, don't get me wrong, but trailing the Mets and the Braves, who are duking it out for that final wild card spot in the NL. It would take one hell of a collapse for one of those teams and one hell of a run by the Cubs to get this push done. But tonight they'll send Imanaga out there against Estes. Anything left in the tank, or do the A's just want to keep going on this play spoiler tour that it seems like they've done over the past month and a half? Anything stand out to you in this one? The price on the Cubs was enough to make me cross this one off my card personally. But Connor wondering if you have any thoughts here in the A's and the Cubs.
Sure, Dan. I actually look at this schedule spot. Imanaga overall, he's a guy, I've been betting on more than fading. The problem here is the Cubs just lost 2 of 3 to the Rockies, as favorites, by the way. So they've kind of been burning some cash, Dan. And they're also coming from Colorado to Chicago, so the highest elevation ballpark here to Wrigley Field. And I don't like betting on teams in that situation. In fact, I actually look to fade them. So the Cubs overall aren't a team I'm looking to go against, but this schedule spot, I don't think it's very favorable for the Cubs. And you brought up, the A's kind of going to play kind of spoiler out there. And Joey Estes hasn't been terrible. So if anything, I actually think the big dog is barking, but this isn't one I bet personally here, Dan.
Yeah, and one of the things, Steve, before we get into best bets here, we'll talk one more game, and the team that they're scoreboard watching against, or one of the teams that they're scoreboard watching against, you'll be talking about in best bets. But the other one is the Mets, and they're taking on the Nationals today. You would think, hey, slam dunk spot here. The Nats, what do they really have to play for? Talk about playing spoiler. It's Manaea and Irvin. But really, The Mets probably a little bit distracted in that clubhouse, no? With all the thoughts being, hey, what's going to end up happening with Francisco Lindor, who has an MRI. The results should be coming in here Monday afternoon, late Monday evening. So, a distracted Mets team who still has all kind of pressure being put on them here as they're jockeying for position with the Bravos. It makes a spot that seems like here's where we can pick up some ground, turn into a little bit more of an interesting handicap against your Washington Nationals here tonight. Would you agree?
Washington Nationals next year, playoff caliber team. As I said, my Nats insider John Amos says he's taking them even at plus money. You're going to get plus money, John. He's like, I like them. He likes them to make the playoffs next year. And I don't totally disagree. I think there's a lot of upside with this Nats team. And they were one of those teams that kind of, traded away all the championship caliber guys after they won that World Series. Within a couple years, they'd unloaded pretty much everybody from that lineup, rebuilding, but they do appear to be rebuilding in the right direction. Those are the type of teams that often do well in September because they have a lot of young talent that still plays hard. Nats are 6-4 their last 10. Mets are 6-4 their last 10. So you can definitely back the Nationals here in September, and this might be one of those situational spots tonight as the Mets return home after a 6-game road trip. That's never a great spot. After 3 against Philly, especially losing those last 2 on Saturday and Sunday, could leave them a little hungover. The problem, though, with the Nationals in this game is Jake Irvin. 4.2 ERA on the season, 4.6 last year in his first year. He's very mediocre, and it looks like he's wearing down on top of that since early August now. His last 7 starts, a 6.4 ERA. Manaea has been much better, 3.5 ERA over that same time frame. So, although I don't like the spot here for the Mets, I'm not sure I can trust Irvin. If Irvin does, implode, that over/under 7.5 is pretty reasonable because it did open 8 under. But if you check the WagerTalk live odds screen right now, it's hit down to 7.5. So there is some money coming in on the under. A little surprised by that since Irvin's been such terrible current form the last couple months.
Yeah, that's definitely very fair there. Hop below in the comments. Let us know what your best bets are because you're going to get the guys' best bets right now here on First Pitch. All we ask you to do, hit that like button. We would appreciate it. And you can check these guys out over at WagerTalk. WT.buzz/deals will also let you know how you can save big coming up here throughout the season. Drew Martin on a 10-5 baseball run, picking up a strong 17% of profit. And if you just look at what he's done since early July, 35% of profit picked up for clients. So check him out, WT.buzz/DM. Drew, I know you got a 3-pack up here for Monday night that folks can check out to tell them about the plays you're excited about. And let us know, how are we betting this high total? Arizona, Colorado. We think some runs could continue. Arizona had no problem putting runs up yesterday in a 21-run game. Do those hot bats continue? Because that's kind of been the story, Drew.
Sure, Dan. And yeah, you bring up the 10-5. It's been a nice run here, guys, but it's even more important when you're betting baseball. Remember, look at the profits because, betting some dogs, that's a good way to make some money in MLB. And it's been a nice run here, guys, over the summer in the sport of baseball, up 35% profit since early July, and got the 3-pack up tonight. And if you get that, it's less than $10 a play. So locked and loaded for Monday night on the bases. Now, Dan, you might have the Philadelphia 2-step. I'm not sure if you confirmed if you're going on the Eagles and Phillies there, but I got one if you want something else, and that's in the total in this Colorado-Arizona game. NL West matchup here. Merril Kelly, Antonio Sensatella, the pitching matchup here. I know one of the commenters, I believe you said on TikTok, said Arizona minus the run line. Sidewise, guys, if you want something, maybe that's the way to go instead of laying the 70 cents here on the Diamondbacks. But even more so, it might correlate with that. I like the over 11 flat here. It looks to be a split line, 11 or 11.5. You can search around. You can find 11 minus 115 up and available looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen. Couple reasons why I like this over. Talked about Arizona. They just gave up 25 runs their last 2 games to the Milwaukee Brewers. Now they're coming into Coors Field. And guys, look at their bullpen kind of pitches thrown here. They have been seriously taxed in that series against the Brewers. And that's not what you want when you're heading to Coors Field. And they're up against the Colorado Rockies lineup. Sure, overall, their overall season statistics are not great. But at home, they've hit a lot better. and it's their second series at home. I love betting on the Colorado Rockies to have offensive production because they've already got 3 games under their belt in the thin air. They tend to hit a lot better. And the Colorado Rockies starter here, Sensatella, this is his first start off the 60-day IL, so you got to think his pitch count is going to be lowered. And when you look at the minor league metrics, he had 5 starts, kind of rehab starts, if you will. And I know it doesn't translate fully to MLB, but his numbers were not great. I almost think they're just kind of throwing him up here because they are paying him the MLB dollars. He gave up 10 runs in 17 innings in AA rehab starts. Merril Kelly, overall, his metrics are solid, but of recent, since mid-August, he's had over a 6 ERA, a 6 FIP, 35 hits, and 27 innings. That's not great here. We know this Arizona offense, they've been one of the better offenses really for the full season in MLB, but the number 2 hottest offense by weighted runs created plus. So coming up here to Coors Field, both bullpens actually taxed here, guys. I think we get runs in bunches. I don't think either of these 2 starters last too long, Dan, and we get some of the kind of bottom of the bullpen arms pitching pretty early in this game. So 11 flat, up and over for the Diamondbacks and Rockies tonight in the 8:40 Eastern start time, Coors Field.
Love the breakdown. Drew Martin, WT.buzz/DM. Check him out. Find him on X and social at Drew Martin Bets, and you'll find him alongside Teddy Covers, one of the most popular shows here on WagerTalk TV. Get ready to bet the NFL this week the only way that you should, and that is with the opening line report going live at 1 p.m. Eastern today, following Wager Talk today. So hit that bell. You won't miss that show, and you don't want to miss that show, and some potential emergency betting alerts. Where is the market going in NFL? Find out today, 1 o'clock Eastern, alongside Drew Martin and Teddy Covers. All right, Steve, best bet for you. We're taking a look at the Bravos and the Dodgers. How are you looking to bet this game, and what do you have up locked and loaded as we have the playoff push here in MLB, but also football in full swing? It's a great time to buy, Steve.
This is just a great time of the year to be playing baseball, college football, pro football. It's really a great time to be an all sports, all access client because basketball is just over a month away, about a month and a half away for college and pro hoops as well. So don't miss out. Some great opportunities at WagerTalk.com, including an instant $800 discount on my full year 365-day package with promo code SM365. All those promos, all the specials on my page right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Baseball, 28-7 run. We cashed again on Friday night to make it a 28-7 run. And then I focused on football Saturday, went 3-1 in college football. Focused on the NFL Sunday, went 2-1 yesterday. So 5-2 on football over the weekend. And now we're back with some baseball focus here early in the week until football resumes later in the week. Look, it's a great time to make money. I'm number 1 in ATS profits the last 2 seasons in college and pro football combined. Number 1 this year in all of baseball on the current 28-7 run. Check out my best bets for Monday night and, more importantly, those all-access special offers and promo codes, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Let's look at a free play for tonight on Monday. Probably the biggest matchup on the board, Dodgers-Braves. Possible playoff matchup here. The Braves are going to be a wild card team. They're not catching the Phillies. They're currently holding on to that last wild card spot with the Mets. Dodgers, meanwhile, 3.5 up in the division, and they'd be about, I believe, 7 up in the wild card. So they're in the postseason if for some reason the Padres catch them. And whenever we can take a team that's just kind of cruising like the Dodgers against a team that might be playing a little tight, that catches my attention in a pick-em range. And also whenever we get the Dodgers in a pick-em price range, it catches my attention. And, oh, yes, we're fading Max Fried at home. Yamamoto, he's got the better overall numbers this season. In fact, a 2.8 ERA. And you always worry about a guy in his first season maybe wearing down the last few months. So let's go back and look how he's pitched since he's returned. Well, he was off, of course, until mid-June. He pitched a lot in May, early mid-June, but his first start back in nearly 2.5 months in the majors last week on the 10th of September. They put him only 4 innings against the Cubs, but he looked pretty good. Only 3 hits, 1 run, no earned runs, and I think he pitches even better tonight. Fried will probably bring an A game as well, but the Dodgers, the better offense, as good if not a better starting pitcher in my opinion, and the better overall team at a pick-em price range. So let's take a look at the LA Dodgers on the road here to get things started off right in game 1, minus $1.15 at 7:20 Eastern. And don't forget, if you want my strongest best bets tonight in both football, baseball, basketball in a month, consider that all-access special for a full year for just $3 a day. That's about $1.50 per play. promo code SM365. You want the rest of just the baseball season, my 28-7 baseball run continues. You get an instant $50 discount with promo code MLB50. But check it all out. You don't have to memorize it. It's on my page right now, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And oh yeah, thumbs up, like, comment below. I read all the comments. Click subscribe and click the bell for instant alerts. In my Fade the Public video, I do have the Eagles and Falcons, a very public play in Monday Night Football. Be sure to check out that video. It's not too late here on Wager Talk TV.
What is that play? Check it out right here on Wager Talk TV. That's right. You don't have to go anywhere to keep getting all that info you need to cash on all the sports you love. So stay right here and it'll get you ready to go as Wager Talk today is coming your way less than a half hour away. Brian Power, Brian Leonard, double Brian action on today's show alongside Prez and of course, Teddy Covers, who is going to be live alongside Drew Martin, getting you ready to go in NFL with the opening line report. Also, odds maker Dave Mason going to be joining the guys from Bet Online, talking a little Monday Night Football action. They'll give you some baseball plays as well over there. And Teddy's always popular. Bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. The best bets for the guys today, Arizona, Colorado over the total. That's the best bet for Drew Martin and Steve looking to lay it with the Dodgers. Comment below what your best bet is. If you have any questions that we didn't get to here on the show, keep them coming after the video is live here, and we'll chop up with you down in the comments. Until next time, folks, we'll be back with you locked and loaded, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. on the West Coast for first pitch here, a Tuesday edition coming your way just less than 24 hours from now. Until then, folks, best of luck, cash those tickets, and we'll see you back here on Wager Talk TV.